had this argument. And like, well, she put these friggin' words into my mouth and made the huge mistake of insulting me. She probably meant everything she said. She's behind me, isn't she?
It's that time of the year again, or the hour, or however you want to put it, and it's time for another commentary. And hi again, everyone. I'm Erik Sprowls, and I was the director and series creator of In Neon. And with me today
is Dustin Devine, the production manager and #1 crew person on the set of In Neon.
The crew.
The crew.
Well, there was Mikey Nemisek and there was Chewy and
Right.
a couple other people, but we're here forever. And we're going to take you on a special backstage tour of episode 10 of In Neon. Aren't you excited, Dustin?
Oh yeah, because you always get the opinion of the people that get the glory in front of the camera. You get to see their faces and their family gets to watch, and my family gets to watch it, and they don't see me at all except for maybe 5 seconds every episode.
Right, now we can tell you the truth. We're not some star trying to look good. We'll tell you.
Yeah.
We'll tell you how it is, what really happened.
Don't listen to all the other...
Hey, we can swear in this, too.
Oh, can we?
Damn it.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
You shouldn't have
This is
told me
the
that.
fucking open. Hello.
Yeah, I say, where were you when we fucking shot this shit? You never brought me on this day.
Well,
You drug me out of bed at like 3 in the morning to go shoot something in a jail, but you can't call me when we go shoot hotties around the campus? What the hell?
Sorry about that.
All right.
This was actually shot, I think, in early August or late July of 2001. And it's stock footage of the campus. I don't remember why I had this idea to start this show with a little Dino. Is this Dean Martin?
Yeah.
Dino, little Dino.
Ain't that a kick in the head?
Kick in the head. By the way, that's Jess Vader walking away there. She had enough.
Ain't nothing.
And
I'll see you buried her, but not me.
I like this because we start the show with this song, and we wrap the show with this song. And
Kind of like a theme that goes through the show.
yeah, it is.
this
Life is a
episode,
kick in the head in this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Because the whole season we've been promoting that somebody's going to die on the show, and it happens tonight.
Ooh, someone dies. When when we were producing that and it was on the air, how many people asked me who dies, and I wouldn't tell them. I swore. You told me not to tell. I swore I would not say who dies in the show.
Yep. You ever shooting this? You were there for this.
Yeah, I was there. This is another Statue of Liberty play.
It's funny. Yeah, it's a Statue of Liberty play. Why don't you tell them what that means?
Statue of Liberty play. Usually, whenever we have shooting areas where it's always fluorescent lighting and the lighting's not all that good. So what happens is I have to stand in the corner off to where you can't see me, holding the light high in the air like the Statue of Liberty, and usually holding the script to call lines in the other hand.
That's right.
So I look like the Statue of Liberty in the corner of like every single scene we ever shot. So, especially if the light had to bounce off the ceiling.
This was shot at the Multimedia Access Center in campus. And I got to give props before we start anything to Dane Short. This was the first completely digital episode of In Neon produced. And I started editing this on Dane Short's computer. He's a gentleman that did some of our music. He introduced me to digital technology. So I got to give props to Dane, first and foremost.
That mirror's a little dirty.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's college. I like this song, too, that hubba, 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 hubba.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny about that computer lab, too, that we just watched? Dante bitched about, shoots and saying, I want to go. And then he ended up coming to that one. He wasn't even in it.
Yeah. That was the episode. Yeah, he wasn't in that scene at all, and then Dante just shows up to see how things are going.
Yeah,
and if he could be any of service. Yeah.
Couldn't get rid of him. It's cute here. I got to tell you.
Okay.
Bree has her shirt open a little bit. I don't know if she realized that the button was unbuttoned down below.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of cute little midriff going. I like the way we decorated the sets here too.
I'm sure you liked how we decorated the sets.
Yeah.
Considering who decorated the sets,
I don't.
that'd be me.
Statue of Liberty play.
Every time whenever we shot in this house, this house was also used by the BSU on campus for their meetings and stuff. So every day after we were done shooting, we had to tear down everything, all the bottles, all the kegs and the posters, and then we had to put them back up the next day exactly where they were.
Hilarious, wasn't it?
No, it was a blast.
I like the way we shot this too. It kind of made me think of I can't remember an example. I'm thinking more of Meg Ryan. I was a big Meg Ryan fan in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and I can just see her going off on some tangent, back and forth, and somebody trying to keep up. You know, generally Tom Hanks probably.
Yeah.
In some comedy.
And then Jared has to try and think of something clever to say at the end of it, and obviously doesn't.
We actually edited that down. He went on for an hour there with his dialogue. I cut a lot of the dialogue out because I just like how he said, "Hey, wait a minute." Most of the posters around there in the house are mine. Of course, the BSU shredded them when we left. We're not going to get into that.
No,
I'm not very happy with them right now, or ever again. See that keg down the corner?
Yeah, that keg right there?
That's only been sitting there 6 months. How much you have a drink, Brett?
An exaggeration.
I like some of the dialogue that these two have.
It's a very good back and forth dialogue. It's like a constant battle of wits that they just have to try and one up each other. Anytime one tries to make a point and end it, the other one comes back with another point, and these two just did a very good job of continuously. It's almost like banter back and forth with each other.
You know what else is interesting about this? Because it is a couple years old. That background that you see behind them there, not the house, but the behind Bree, that background back
building.
That building back there is Johnson or McCloskey Hall. That's not even there anymore.
Nope.
And you couldn't even see it if it was there because they've got a gigantic. How many stories is that building now? 6, 7 stories? 5 stories maybe?
And there's 3 of them. There's one actually. This empty field here is one building. Another building runs down from McCloskey down the hill towards Johnson is another one, I believe.
Yeah.
And then there's one that goes behind the Union there, up behind that building. So I think there's like 3 or 4 of those buildings, those new dorms they're putting in now that just aren't even there.
Kind of an interesting retrospective because now, you know, when you look at this now, it looks nothing like it did when we shot it. And in fact, if we wanted to do this now, like this day and age, and I was still working at CUTV, we probably couldn't have done it anyway. We wouldn't have, because look at all that stuff that goes on behind him. In episode 4, that big drive with the car and everything.
The only thing you'd be able to do now, no, actually, you wouldn't be able to do it because it'd all be like there'd all be construction and dirt pile. I mean, I'd say you could probably use the front street there at the infirmary. That closed brick building there is the infirmary.
I like this. By the way, I like this little dialogue here.
Buck naked.
Oh, this one's a good one.
Good. Good. Fine. Fine. What? Phone.
What's up with Grant and that Mountain Dew cap? Is that glued to his head like Indiana Jones's fedora?
Well, half of Grant's wardrobe for this show was my clothes.
Yeah.
So that penguin shirt he always wears, that's mine. And what else of mine does he always wear?
Oh God, it's hard to tell. I like when Brett has this big meltdown here.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he's having a fit because
throwing the tantrum in the yard.
You know, these two are in love. They just don't know it. You know?
Oh yeah.
Me? I'm fine.
Can you believe that Bree cut all her hair?
I couldn't believe that when I saw it.
In real life, she cut it. It's really
I was
short
disappointed.
Now. I remember when we shot this, we were running out of daylight, and we had to shoot so much. Mm-hmm. And the leaves on the trees always differ, too. You'll probably see in the next shot, you'll see, like, leaves on the trees. That's the one thing you can't avoid. If you're shooting a movie, it's so different when you shoot a movie, you know, because you shoot a 2-hour movie, in a couple of months, nothing really changes. But when you shoot a 15-hour soap opera over the course of a year, you know, there's stuff you can't get.
And you have the problem of even if you just could shoot this all in order, this was all shot out of order. Some of this might have been shot in October, some might have been shot in February, some might have been shot in April. And because it all depended on people's class schedules and whether they could be available. And so you just try and schedule everybody when they can, but months or weeks or months may have passed. So especially if you're shooting on a transition like season like the fall, you know, you could come, if there's a big gust of wind overnight, there's half as many leaves on the trees as there was the day before. So even that shot's going to differ.
Hey, there's a cameo.
Hey, there I am.
We always joked about how you have cameos throughout the whole series. That's you walking up the stairs. Mm-hmm. One thing I wanted to mention to Mrs. Filbert there, backing up a little bit, Barb Peffer.
Yes.
She made a lot of this show, and she's only in it instances.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that was that running gag where Brett can't do anything right in front of Mrs. Filbert. I love that. She did a wonderful job.
She did do a very good job. She was, and she was really a very nice lady. But whenever she was on set and in character, she was that older, appearing like mean appearing, neighbor. And just thinks, damn kids, I ain't up to no good, and
Yeah, and she's only like 25.
Oh
24.
yeah, and a very nice lady at that.
If you look at Dante's right wrist, do you see that little? You can't see it now, but he has a little magnet on that he started me on. It's a magnet he wears with copper. See it? You see it just barely.
Yeah, that little.
He started me on that. I started wearing one of those afterwards. He says it's a good way to get copper in your system so you can alleviate arthritis, that kind of thing. It's a shot in the Natali Student Center.
Yeah.
At night. As difficult as it is to shoot nighttime scenes, I always like shooting at night. You can always differentiate.
Mm-hmm. I always like shooting at night too until you decided that light's wrong. Then I have to run down the second story of the house and move the light and adjust it 6 inches to the left.
Remember when we shot this scene? Now I remember why.
Yeah.
This scene was shot right after Jess Vatter did the computer
Oh, that's
thing.
right.
And that's why Dante was on the set. I knew he wasn't there for any other reason. He might pop up for free pizza. I think Dante liked to stay away from neon as possible because we were all doing it so much. Mm-hmm. When he had free time, he wanted his free time. Hey, who's that?
That would be me.
That would be your cameo again down the hall.
Again.
That's your dorm room, by the way.
This.
We're shooting this in.
Yeah, that dorm room that's opened. I cleaned for you guys a day.
Really? No. I'd like to see what I looked like before.
Hey. Hey. Although I did have after Jeff Sandusky did put that one desktop that you'll see in the computer after a while. I did have a hard time, getting some spamware off my, computer at that point.
Yep.
I used to have a nice, just normal desktop,
Batman.
and Batman's on too.
I like how he's cleaning his teeth. He's all about how he looks. This is how Jeff is in real life.
Yeah. This is the one person on this cast that had to act the very least would be Jeff Sandusky.
It's funny, when he first walked over here and leaned in, there's football plays on your computer. We could never get him to come up at just the right time.
Yeah. And I had this, you had to time the screensaver and it wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. So.
You can't really tell it here, but everybody, how things look different when you look at TV.
Yeah.
Jeff Sandusky is the tannest man I've ever
met.
And you can't really tell it here. He's not tan here, but when you get him away from here, like in the summertime, he looks like George Hamilton.
I saw him. I saw him like a couple weeks ago, and he looked like George Hamilton.
I'll text message him once in a while. I say, I think you and George Hamilton are related. It's his grandfather, Little Robin Hood playing on the TV.
What were we calling him? I used to work for him for a period of time after. I worked with him a period of time after we both graduated.
Where'd you work?
At Herald Standard Television.
Oh, HSTV.
Yeah, down in Uniontown. For a while there, I was calling him Jose Sanchez.
Because he was so tan.
He was so tan and dark. It's like Jose Sanchez, ready for you for the football scorer.
What is that? A leather? Not Ted, not Jack, but on Grant, laying on the couch. Is that a leather shirt?
I think it's I don't know.
I can't really.
I don't think. Was it leather or was it just like a really shiny silk?
I can't tell. It looks like a leather shirt.
Either way, what's Grant doing with it on?
Well, I've seen Grant wear some unusual clothes. I remember for an award show the year before this, he shaved his head bald. I mean, he shaved his head bald. It was hard to tell with Grant what he was going to pull out of his butt,
Yeah, that's what Mark said.
And she said she got an email from
This is the first time in the series. Well, I can't really say that. So we start to unveil the mystery of what's been going on with Laura.
2 + 2 start getting together there.
And her mysterious bruises that appeared in episode 2 and why she's lying about things, and who's stalking her, and
Right.
and you're led to believe a little bit that it's Cleve because he's got a video camera and you saw him be videotaped and everything. But now that you saw him downstairs, you're still a little, about him, wondering. I like how Laura's email there, her password.
Yeah, I was just laughing at there. I didn't even notice that when we did it.
Yeah. Well, these, you know why? Because, again, I got to credit Dane Short. The Sex-A-Lot, and that email was actually shot a year later. I wasn't even with CUTV any longer. On Dane's computer, where I put the whole thing together at his house.
Wow.
He was really understanding. I would go over there and edit the entire show over the summer of 2003. And he was pretty willing to let me do it, so it was kind of nice how it worked out.
It was nice.
Hey guys.
I remember how many different times, just for these 15 seconds, where you're looking at each the cast rooms there. How long it would take us because we had to change the lighting around the room every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to change this, and I had to move that light from upstairs to downstairs, and around and.
Jared looks good with glasses. He ought to keep glasses on for a while. I like him wearing the glasses behind the desk. Gives him a little. What's the word for it? Little. So he looks smarter than he is. Smarter than your average bear.
Kind of like an intellectual prestige.
Yeah, something like that. There's a word for it. I'll think of it by the end of this commentary.
That'll be the last thing they hear.
Dignity.
That'll be the last thing they hear is they go off. He'll just shout out the word.
Not dignity. He doesn't have any dignity.
Sophistication.
Sophistication? Is that it? I don't know. I'll think of it later. I like how this is shot. How we shot this too, with these two getting each other's faces, because you've been waiting this to boil over since the second episode when they had their fight.
What the hell are you doing in our email account anyway?
That's right, because they did fight.
I had a password.
Out there. That was a second day. That was the first day I ever was on set.
I remember. See how close they are now. When we were shooting this, they kept breaking up and laughing because they were so close. Lots of bloopers out of this day. And now the mystery starts to unravel because the mystery email was sent from Laura's own account. So you're starting to wonder, This is Dante's real car, by the way. He's a big Steeler fan like myself. Look at those Tiger.
Oh yeah, that's how you know it was Dante's car. You wouldn't see what kind of car it was or what the color of the car was, but you would see the Tiger striped seat covers coming down the road by 3 miles away.
Yeah. I wonder if Dante probably still doesn't even have that car.
All right.
Why here?
I don't
I hope
know.
he saved the seat covers. That made it.
I don't know.
I remember in this scene here, Jess had to go to shut the car off when they got here, and she actually tried turning it on. It already was on, so it stripped the ignition. And Dante was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And they bickered like a real married couple.
That scene too, I remember we shot that's actually shot over a couple different nights.
Yeah.
This entire upcoming sequence where where there's the should I tell them?
Yeah.
Where there's the fight. This is when we start
Big
this
fight coming up
This
here.
night is October and it's 40 something out. Then when JP starts fighting in this alley, it's February and 30 something. And then when we finish up at the house, it's April.
I think they shot it over a spring break too, parts of it.
Yeah, it's all the same night in the show, but it was shot over different months, where we just happened to be lucky where it was clear or not raining or snowing, and there wasn't anything on the ground.
Yeah.
Because that was the one thing we just couldn't control.
Jess Vader is a lovely woman.
Preach on.
She has, she's very pretty to begin with, but she has really long legs. And when she's standing over there in that alley, she has the black jacket on, so she kind of blends in, but she has those blue jeans. See how long those legs are?
Amen.
She looks really good with them.
Amen, my brother.
Lighting here was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, ugh. In fact, you know what?
What?
I don't think you knew this, Mr. Production Manager. But after we were done shooting here and we wrapped and went home, 3 days later, my neighbor. By the way, this alley scene we shot this was next to my apartment.
Right.
In real life, my house.
Yeah, your house is up
3
the
days
top.
later, my neighbors come over, knock on the door. They're like, "Hey, is that yours? What? That light sitting down there." And I was like, "What light?" "And you left one of the lights sitting down there in the driveway."
Well, hold on a second here. First off, what is the background color of the sky right there?
Black.
What were the color of the lights when they weren't turned on? So how
what color are they when they're on? Big, bright, white lights.
Yeah, so if you unplug them from your house because you're running power out of your house.
Whatever.
Don't get all bitter.
I like how the mystery's all unveiled, and you're like, "Who is this? Is it Cleve?"
No, it's not Cleve. He's up
No, it's
at it.
JR. No, I'm sorry. It's JP. I'm sorry.
You forgot the boy's name.
So now you know he's in. There's a problem because Ackerman's not in jail.
Yeah.
Jared Brett had sent him there in episode 9 in that sting operation.
Yep.
And now he's like out. And you're like, what's going on?
That's how you can tell on this show, and there's always trouble. Everybody will run in sequential down the stairs.
Well, too, I like the fact that the camaraderie on this show was above everything else.
Oh, yeah.
You know, these guys there was inner conflicts and there were all things going on, fights or whatever. But whenever somebody's in trouble, they'd all rally together.
Oh, yeah.
That was the whole point of this show.
If they were in the house, they were, it was the house above the individual bickering.
Because you know everybody's on their way to save Laura, not just Jack. He just happens to be ahead of the pack. This scene, like I said, was shot in different locales. This alley was shot at the bottom of my street where I used to live in California.
Oh yeah, you had your neighbor that lived down in slightly down the hill that I had the fortune, I guess, of meeting a while down the road.
Yes, and it'll spill over into a nearby fraternity, which in reality is 2 miles away, and it was just kind of craftily shot, so it spills over, and it looks like it's really next door, you know. And of course, Dante, or Mark rather, hears the argument going on. He goes to investigate. Of course, there we go back to the friendship theme.
Right.
Somebody's in trouble.
He gets out.
They rally the troops.
He's by himself, but still, he when there's trouble, he's there. Even though
this guy that answered the door was a hoot. Let me tell you why. They kept having bloopers this night. It was 12 degrees, I think.
Yep.
And he kept coming through there every time he'd knock on the door. One time he came through with a baseball bat and said, "Quit knocking on my door!" And stuff like that. I like, too, Jack's like, "Where's Laura? Where's Laura?" And this guy here, I can't remember this guy's name, but he surprised Jack once. And he's like, "Do you know where she went?" And one surprise, he goes, "Yeah, my boy's upstairs banging her." That's a blooper. I mean, so it was a lot of fun on the set a lot of times like that.
Sometimes there were bloopers when you didn't want bloopers. Sometimes there were bloopers that were just too priceless to let go, and you had to stop and laugh at it. Especially when it was getting late and all, and people were getting tired and cranky. They just start making up stuff.
With that blind guy?
You leave him out of it.
Maybe I should have did him like I did Brett.
So there you go. Ackerman admits that he stabbed Brett, and the truth starts to come out. I like how it's shot here. I shot this in this wide shot because it looked, more real, and the fact that there's no one around that can see any of this except Dante. It's nighttime, and I kept going back to that wide shot to show that there's no one around to observe this argument.
You're gonna kill him, you bastard!
I remember Jess, who was big, when she fell down here, she fell in the mud on the wide shot. You don't see it there because it's a close-up shot, and we're probably not even near the mud. But she totally reamed me a new one by telling me how she sacrificed her muddy jeans.
Yeah. It was for the good of the shot. A picture in one of these books of, the one whole leg is mud. She did let you have it that night, too.
Did you hear anything I said? You are out of control, Michael. You got extremely lucky with what happened.
So the truth all comes out here.
That's why I've been watching you.
And that's now the truth doubly comes out here. Now you find out he's been the stalker.
Yep.
But the whole story is, you know, he never wanted anything with her. You know, he went home and had sex with her just to get his claws into Brett's business. You know?
He used her to get...
He used her to keep an eye on Brett.
You've been watching me.
That's low.
I had to.
Yeah.
At the flower shop.
As you can see, we have some interesting wipes
Yeah.
and dissolves here, and you kind of morph the screen around. And
Back in the...
had a lot of fun with digital technology. I was just going crazy when I put this together on Dane's computer. So all the pieces are starting to come together now.
Oh, yeah.
He's been watching her the entire time because she lived in Brett's house.
All right. By keeping an eye on her, because they're all so close, he could keep an eye on Brett.
Hey,
Yeah.
Lee said leave her alone.
And Dante, or Mark really, is the most unlikely hero you
Yeah.
would ever think of. I mean, he ain't Daredevil. He's blind, but
Yeah.
he ain't know what he's doing.
He's a skinny, tall, blind guy. I mean, you know, if I'm thinking, looking around, you know, my friends, and you know, if I'm getting in a bar fight, no offense, Dante, you're not the guy.
Well, even more
if you
so.
can't see.
Even more so because he is blind. You know?
Yeah.
But just because he's blind, he doesn't care.
Right.
You know,
He proved that before.
Something's wrong with his friend here. Now, I remember this was the actual take. I kept this actual take. Do you remember what happens here?
He actually hit him, didn't he?
Yeah. JP actually kicks him for real.
Yeah.
And when Dante went down, he went down like a sack of groceries, man. And
It's like somebody takes a pin to the balloon and pop and boom. It just all falls to the ground there.
That was the last shot of the night. We picked up this the next night. And I remember when we were picking it up, I said to Dante, I said, you wearing any kind of special body armor tonight? And he's like, oh yeah, for freaking JP. You know? And so he was fully equipped with body armor in case something were to happen. But I like how this happens too because it shows how much Dante really means to Laura. And
Yeah.
how much, Mark means to Laura and Laura means to Mark and how they're really involved. I think that they had good chemistry on and off the screen with these two.
This episode is like the defining moment for the entire group because it's not only the climactic part of the show, but it shows the rallyiness. It shows the camaraderie that they all have had. And as we're getting towards the end, they start to realize that
Yeah.
So.
And this is important too because you remember the plant in episode 3 when Dante and when Mark, Brett, and Jack fought those other 3 guys. Mm-hmm. That was actually a plant for this scene because Dante stands up and figures, I'll just use the old same tactic I used there, here on Ackerman.
The old kung fu.
In fact, it's almost the same speech.
I think it is, a lot of those are.
The term?
Hands behind the back.
Now the funny thing is too, we couldn't. The only thing that's different is the blind stick is different because Dante pulverized the first one.
The first one was a collapsible one that could fold up into smaller, I guess, like 6-inch sticks. She's figuring out what's going on, and he broke that in the first fight scene.
Yeah.
So now he has this completely.
And no one expects this either. I've known friends though that it's just like my old boss. I'm not going to mention names.
Right.
We all know who I'm talking about. He's like, this is the problem I got here as a director. Okay, how can the blind person tell you? I'm like, have you ever been around anybody with a disability in your life? You can tell. Close your eyes. Walk up to somebody. You can tell that they're there just because the way that your voice reverberates off of them.
Right.
So that's the whole point. You can tell that kind of thing. And of course, when Ackerman is able to get that blind stick away from Mark, it's almost him like losing Excalibur. It's like his. Now Dante has good looks in this scene. I was very proud of Dante here. He, he really looks, confused. And when he stands up You know, he realizes here, you know, Ackerman's got his stick, but when he stands up here, look at his eyes.
Yeah.
He knows he's out into...
Because he can't hear, he's not doing anything, so he can't hear him, and he can't see him because he doesn't have the stick, you know. It was that one moment whenever he's just like, I might really have gotten myself in over my head here.
Yeah, this ain't no, this isn't the Three Musketeers fight that they were in, you know, 7 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Plus he had backup then. This is a little bit
now
more
it's
serious.
mano-a-mano. And considering it, we've already seen that this guy, you know, will hit Laura, will stab Brett, you know, whacking off Dante or Mark here isn't going to be no problem.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he picks up a couple stones. He tries to test them. You know, Ackerman's in on the joke. He knows what's going on now.
he's figured it out.
And you know, I think Mark should have just, you know, faked a heart attack. You know, that's the answer to everything. Anytime you're in trouble, fake a heart attack. I mean, what are you going to do?
You know what he should have done?
What?
In my opinion, he should have just shouted out Marco. Because ever since you played Marco Polo as a kid, anybody just stands up and shouts Marco, you answer Polo before you realize what you're doing. Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
No, you ever play Marco Polo?
No. What the hell is that?
Marco Polo is where like people like stand or like, you know, people I guess hide, and you're blindfolded or you keep your eyes closed, and you shout Marco, and they all shout Polo, and you have to try and tag them
Oh, I see.
because you can't see. So, you really never played Marco Polo?
No, I can't sit in my hand.
What did you do?
Of course, you know, now,
Yeah.
getting back to that right here, whenever he punched Mark and he flew backwards out of the shot and he landed here, this is next to the AKL house.
Right.
It's an actual fraternity house 2 miles away, but you really can't tell because it's nighttime. It's all grassy and it looks like it's maybe in the back alley. You
My
know?
question is, if Jack hit him with the stick, why did he hurt his hand?
Did you ever hit anybody with a stick like that?
No.
That's not a tree
Does it
limb.
sting?
Yeah, it does. That'll sting.
Do you have a stick?
Yeah, I still have that blind stick.
I want to try it.
I kept it as a prop. Only if we go get my boss, my ex-boss.
Do you think Candy will pop out?
I don't know. Big pinata. Anyway,
What?
what are you gonna do?
And so yeah, so now we're out in front of the.
I remember lighting for. Now, were you on this particular shoot? Mm-hmm. I remember Mikey Nemisek was around that back tree holding a light.
Yeah. The
Now,
rest of
here,
them
this
were
is
across the
interesting.
street.
Here you go. Here's your cameo again.
Hey, me and Mikey are upstairs with Chewy's girlfriend.
Yeah, another production manager.
Yeah.
They're having a big fight, and you guys are upstairs watching the whole thing. I can imagine. I was calling down on a radio to you of what to do and what to say. Now, picture this. Look there in that shot. You're not even there.
Yeah. I think we're up the sidewalk too.
Yeah.
So we had like every, you know, thing maxed out.
Now, this is across the street. I remember the dean, one of the deans of the university at the time we were shooting this, stopped by and showed his support. I like this fight scene. It's pretty good, but you see that couple in the background walking up the street?
Yeah.
That's just distracting to me, and it was just such a good take, I had to go with it.
Right.
And I like this. I think it's a pretty good fight between everybody. I can only imagine what you guys were saying about me upstairs when we were shooting that.
I think it was. I won't say it because I fear the our other production manager, Chewy. What do you say?
Chewy.
I thought of something funny, but if I'd have said it, I would have been putting my life into mortal danger.
See those two walking up the street? That's just irritating to me. Ugh. But this is the big climactic moment. Somebody's going down these steps. It's going to be one of these characters. Jack grabs Mark, and guess who's going? See you later.
That stick doesn't have the pull power on its own.
Now, I remember when we shot this, we were going to have a stunt guy.
Yeah.
We were going to have somebody come in and do a roll down the steps. We didn't know how we were going to shoot this. Because no matter how you shoot it, we're not a big budget, so no matter how you shoot it, it looks fake.
Right.
And
He said he'd throw himself down.
JP said, I can do this, but he didn't really throw himself down the steps. He would stop and go each step. He's actually rolling, but not really rolling.
Yeah.
Holding himself. But you couldn't do it in real life, like a real speed.
Right.
It just didn't look right. So we had to go slow-mo. And even that was just, it still didn't look right, So we did as best we could. And I think
it's difficult too because you have to be concerned for the actor's safety as well. I mean, those are concrete steps that fall probably by say a good 20, 30 feet. I mean, those aren't breakaways. There's not padding.
Yeah, I love listening to Dino.
Dean Martin. Sandusky'd love it.
That ends episode 10.
Yep.
And I liked this trailer. This wrapped it all up. You knew it was all. This was a good trailer, I thought, and it goes over everything we've done.
To say goodbye.
I think that's a good shot too.
That is a good shot.
There's some unfinished business.
Unfinished business, Dustin. So this is going to be the resolution. It's going to be the resolution of what happened in that fight, and all those things start to come together that you've seen the entire series. Why didn't Brett tell anybody that it was Ackerman?
Right.
Who's this guy and what's his involvement? There's a lot of other mysteries yet to come, and it turns out originally in the original screenplay we just ran out of time to shoot it. That Ackerman was actually not the big drug king in town; it was the other guy.
Really?
And Ackerman was working for him. And that was supposed to be the big twist there that Brett knew, and that's when he throws up against the wall, and we just ran out of time, and we just couldn't shoot it that way. So we had all kinds of twists and turns that were coming, and we tried to shoot as much as we could.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was supposed to be it. That Ed Daniels, the guy who plays Barton, was
the one who actually owes the money to Brett.
Yeah, and Brett never knew it. He was supposed to not know who the competitor was in the town. And when he owed him that money, he was actually, trying to secret his way inside to learn a little bit about Brett. And Ackerman actually worked for him. And in the end result, we just couldn't shoot it that way.
Wow.
We ran out of time. We ran out of a school year. I wish this was a real production in terms of real money, where we could do that kind of stuff. And we had real actors and actresses that we could just employ and everything, but, we got to do what we can. Mary's hair changed 57 times in the history of the Neon.
The best part is you had to make up the line about the snowstorm in April because you shot that one scene with Dante and Jess. We shot over Christmas break during like a blizzard.
Yeah.
And it's then after going back and realizing we read through the scripts, like, oh wait, this is supposed to be in like April, May when they're graduating.
Yeah.
And there's like 7 inches of snow on the ground.
It's funny. Did you see Kim get out of the car there? Wasn't it your car?
Yeah, that was my old. What was it? Alumina.
I don't know, but you know what I really wanted there, and they don't make them anymore apparently in this area. It's a yellow cab. I wanted a yellow cab, and you know what I got? Every time I called a cab company, they're like, well, no one uses yellow cabs anymore, sir. I'm like, they don't? What are you talking about? And they're like, we use these big 4x4 Jeep Cherokees. What? That's what they use as cab company, yeah. So I couldn't have a big yellow cab. Originally, Kim, when she comes home, was supposed to get out of a big yellow cab, and we just couldn't find anything. So we're like,
instead some poor schmuck just picks her up from the airport.
Yeah.
That would be me.
You're the poor schmuck.
I'm the poor schmuck. But I get another episode to put over my belt as I was on screen.
Did you ever watch and count how many times you're in this?
I never did count how many times I was in this. It's got to be probably somewhere upwards of 10.
Oh, much more than that.
Well, look, the episode we just watched. How many times was I in it? 3?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was walking up the stairs in the Union. I was walking down the hallway in the dorm. I was in the window.
Yeah.
So that one was
3 or 4 times
3.
in the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta, whenever this whole thing gets put out on DVD, you gotta do a count of how many times you had cameos in this, and then let me know. I'd really like to know. We used you as Phil so many times just to make sure something was moving in the background.
Yeah.
Because that's, when you're shooting something like this, a spectacle, and this really was a spectacle by all means of the terms of the word, because we have all these grand visions, and then we sit there and go, how are we going to do this? Yeah. And so you know, we didn't have any extras.
And a lot of this was shot when class wasn't in session, so we couldn't get any extras.
Yeah.
A lot of this was shot over Christmas breaks and holiday breaks, and when you know nobody was on campus. So, like the concert scene, I'm sitting on both sides of Jess.
Yeah.
I just one I have a hat on, one I have glasses on.
And you walked into Fiddle's restaurant when they're walking out, or you're drinking a beer in a party scene, or
sitting in a bar. Or
And by the way, here, let me tell you before this is over, and I got to tell you because I just found this out the other day. You had a brush with greatness.
I did.
Yes, you did, and you didn't even know it.
What did I do?
Do you ever watch the show Survivor?
Yeah.
Do you remember who won last year? Amber.
Yeah.
She was in the party scene of In Neon.
What?
Yes, she was.
Where?
The very first episode, when Jared's up on the table dancing, she's down in the crowd dancing.
But I wasn't on that one.
Oh, well, she's also in the one where Dante.
Don't get me that excited and ruin it
Also
for
in the
me.
one where Jack and Mary have their argument, and they come storming in the door, and you're standing behind Jack having a drink.
That's right. You something who? You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Clomp, clomp, clomp. Yeah.
And Jack just looks around and I'm just there like.
That's right. Amber from the cover of People magazine and everything, she was in Neon. So that's.
Oh, I gotta
the whole
see
thing.
that now.
We're gonna market the whole thing with her face on the cover.
Did you tell her? Did you tell her? Or
No, I don't even know her. She knew she was dating Ed Daniels, who plays Barton on the show at the time.
Oh, you gotta be
lived in the
kidding
area,
me!
And he brought her as an extra, and the rest is history. She went out and became famous.
Oh, that's nuts. You gotta let her know. Maybe she'll kick some back. She won $1 million on Survivor. What the hell?
She doesn't even remember what this is. She's like, who are you again? Oh, hey, the credits are over. We gotta get out of here.
All right, bye.
Well, listen, it was great. Tune in for another commentary. You'll be doing the finale.
Yes, I will.
You will be doing the finale with Bree, Mary, and Jeff and Jill. And we're out of time. So see you then. Stay tuned.
See ya.
We had this argument, and well, she put these friggin' words into my mouth and made the huge mistake of insulting me. She probably meant everything she said. She's behind me, isn't she? We had this argument, and well, she put these friggin' words into my mouth and made the huge mistake of insulting me. She probably meant everything she said. She's behind me, isn't she?